NBA after free agency opened up 24 hours ago. Steph Curry has agreed to a 4-year, $215 million extension with the Warriors. The deal starts after this season. The two-time MVP is the first player in NBA history to sign two $200 million plus contracts. Plus, Carmelo Anthony is joining his good friend LeBron James for the first time. It's a 1-year deal with the Lakers. 37-year-old was big off the bench for the Blazers last season, shooting 41% from three. And the Bulls continue to remake their roster under Billy Donovan. According to Woj, they're finalizing a sign and trade to acquire DeMar DeRozan from the Spurs. The perennial 20-point scorer will join new Bulls Lonzo Ball and Alex Caruso. Senior NBA insider Adrian Wojnarowski joining us now. Woj, let's start with the Steph Curry 4-year extension. What more can you tell us about this landmark deal to stay with the Warriors?
Well, Kevin, it probably takes Steph Curry just to the end of his career and certainly solidifies what he's always said. It's the only organization that he's wanted to play with, wants to play his whole career there. And now this is a Golden State team and an organization that wants to continue to try to maximize, these great seasons that are still left in him, even at 33 years old. And this is an organization that is spending deep into the luxury tax to get Klay Thompson back this season. And certainly for Golden State, this is the face of their organization, a face of the NBA, and now two $200 million plus contracts in his career, the only player that's ever done that.
All right, the space and that window of a championship continues to close as they get older in their 30s. Klay Thompson coming back here. I mentioned the West and that space and that championship window. The Lakers continue to overhaul their roster, adding Melo, Malik Monk, Kendrick Nunn, and bringing back Talen Horton-Tucker, as you reported. What's the reaction around the league to what GM Rob Pelinka is doing right now?
Well, certainly, listen, the Lakers had to, really build back their depth after the Russell Westbrook trade and Alex Caruso going to Chicago. But for Carmelo Anthony finally joining up with LeBron James in the NBA, they've talked about this at several different junctures of their career, but it finally made sense. They talked here in recent weeks, and Carmelo, coming to a team, that needs a power forward off the bench, who needs. He's become one of the real formidable catch-and-shoot shooters in the NBA. And I think for Melo, both he and Trevor Ariza playing, some of that 4 spot now for the Lakers really add a lot there. And this is certainly going to be a very veteran bench for L.A.
No doubt about it. By the way, Melo needs just 40 points to pass the great Moses Malone from 9th place on the NBA's all-time scoring list. Woj, appreciate you. Thank you. Tony?
Away, he's joining the Lakers.
Ooh.
Look at that. The Lakers
Ooh.
also, as we noted, have added Malik Monk. So look, in addition to all the moves they've already made, Russ, Dwight Howard, Trevor Ariza, Wayne Ellington, Kent Bazemore, we welcome in ESPN NBA insider Ramona Shelburne, LA native. What are your thoughts on what the Lakers strategy now that we are seeing it pan out?
Well,
right
you know what's amazing, Rach, is I was in the parking lot. This is back when we used to do stakeouts. Remember when free agency was, you staked out the meetings and everybody actually used to have meetings.
Well, that's before everybody constantly IG storied and tweeted where they were at every moment. You don't have to stake any players out now. They'll just tell you.
Yeah. And it was amazing because the Lakers really thought they had a chance with Melo back in 2014. That was a big moment. And they got really close. The only trump card was Phil Jackson was the president of the Knicks back then, and he had the 5th year, and he gave him the whole thing. But they really thought they had a chance at Carmelo Anthony all those years later. And you look at, I mean, that's my favorite expression on the show, I guess, is sliding doors.
Right.
But the sliding doors of Melo's career, of LeBron's career, I like this fit. I like that Melo sort of restarted his career, and he's become a really good three-point shooter. Career high 41% last year. That's what the Lakers need, and their cumulative ages are getting up. Like, he will be there and to make LeBron not feel old, I guess. Like, he's a little bit older than LeBron here. But look, I love the fact that they got Melo and Malik Monk, and Malik Monk on a minimum.
I was going to say, that is some wizardry, and also kind of speaks to a strategy we were talking about with Chris Bosh yesterday, that when he and LeBron and Dwayne Wade were down in Miami, they were able to be like, hey, come to Miami. Miami's fun. I know you won't be making that much money, but come and be with us. This is going to be a party. And it seems like they are starting to pick up a little bit of that momentum, too. What do you think, Zach?
Look, my big question about the Lakers now is the burden on defense for LeBron, who is still incredible defensively, and Anthony Davis, who we all know is a defensive player of the year candidate, is getting bigger and bigger and bigger because when you trawl the minimum bin for guys like this, they're older, they're liabilities defensively. But Melo, to Ramona's point, has bought into a spot-up shooting role and been really, really good at it, and he's going to fit well next to LeBron. And Malik Monk, look, he's not going to get the headlines here because this is Carmelo Anthony. This is a top 10 all-time scorer, first ballot Hall of Famer, LeBron's friend from when they were teenagers. It's a huge deal that they're playing together. Malik Monk on the minimum is an incredible get for Rob Pelinka and the Lakers. He had a great year last year, and he's not just a shooter. He can get them moving in transition. He's really fast. We know the Lakers like to play in transition, doubly so with Russ now. They're getting rebounds and rampaging up the court, and he's a really good secondary playmaker. If you're not really good, but he's getting there. If you kick it to Malik Monk on the weak side against the closeout, he can attack it, make the next pass. I think this is a great say. It's not going to get the headlines, but this is a great signing for the Lakers.
Brooke, I'm curious what you think the on-court fit with Melo, with LeBron, AD, and just all these new pieces, because it's great to make wholesale changes to your roster if you think you're improving it. But as you see on that graphic we just showed, Perk, it's a lot of guys going out and a lot of new guys coming in, and you're going to need to sort of reset your culture just by definition of having an almost completely new group, except for 2 or 3 key guys.
Yeah, and I understand that, Rachel, and I would be concerned if it was a young group, but we're talking about a group of veterans, right? And a lot of these guys have been to the promised land. A lot of these guys have won championships. LeBron James, Anthony Davis, you're looking at even Trevor Ariza. But when you look at Carmelo Anthony and you look at Russell Westbrook, these guys are starving to win a championship. That's the only thing left for them to complete their legacy is to win a ring. So sacrificing is not going to be difficult when it comes down to the Los Angeles Lakers. Look, we're watching Space Jam in real life right now. The Lakers have 5 Hall of Famers on their team. 5. Russell Westbrook, Anthony Davis, LeBron James, Carmelo Anthony, and Dwight Howard. And all those guys still could contribute at a very high level on the basketball court. Dwight Howard, to me, is going to be, again, the unsung hero in this situation, in my opinion, because his ability to still protect the basket. He knows how to play alongside Anthony Davis. He's still a lob threat at the basket, one of the most athletic bigs in the game today. So when you look at the other pieces, the shooting that they added around them, watch the hell out.
Yeah, I love this Dwight Howard sign. Re-signing. Yeah, I mean, they missed him last year. That was a calculated decision that they made to go from Marc Gasol.
A friend at Sports Illustrated wrote, talking about them sitting in a stairwell in a hallway at the hotel the night before the game and just becoming friends, basically. 2 guys who were in similar situations in high school who could know what that pressure was like to have the eyes of the whole country on them when they were so young. They have been incredibly close ever since. We have been waiting for the time when Carmelo Anthony and LeBron James play basketball together in the NBA, and we have it now. Carmelo Anthony is going to the LA Lakers. What do you make of that, Perk?
Reunited and it feels so good. I tried to tell people yesterday, Rachel, when producer Steve was saying we had to leave out, I couldn't have a chance to redeem myself when Zach Lowe and Ramona and Matt Barnes was disagreeing with me about the big 3 of the Lakers and the big 3 of the Nets and who was going to have the better impact. And all of a sudden, guess what? Like them old people used to tell me, my grandmother, boy, don't you touch that stove, it's hot. And then all of a sudden I had to learn on my own not to go touch the stove because I went and touched it anyway. All of a sudden you got to go get the aloe vera plants because you got a burn mark on your hand because I told y'all so. Look, what Rob Pelinka did yesterday, all he did, Rachel, was set the temperature. He set the temperature. He set the temperature by going sign Trevor